Hasbro has been putting out. And I know Deathlok. Yeah, we're starting that over. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews, and today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends Sasquatch Wave Deathlok. Got the window box here in the front. We got some cool artwork there of Deathlok on the side. Same thing on that side. You got the Deadpool logo on the top. On the back we get a product shot, as well as the rest of the figures in this wave that are going to be needed to build and complete the Sasquatch Build-A-Figure. And we have the read-up up here. Reanimated into superpower dominance, Deathlok is a cyborg hero bent on demolition. And on the bottom, for anyone that needs the UPC, there you go. Go ahead and give your local stores a call, see if they got it in stock. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and get this open and get a better look at the figure and accessories. And here is Deathlok out of the packaging, and this guy looks awesome. I'm loving that Hasbro has been giving us a lot of the 90s figures. And before you say anything, yes, I know Deathlok was introduced, I think, back in the 70s, and I know he's still a character that's relevant today, but he had a lot of stuff going on in the 90s and the Maximum Carnage run with Spider-Man. He had his own miniseries had come back and such. So that's what I remember him from. But I love this figure. The details that they put into him look great. The sculpt work on his head looks awesome. I kind of wish we had a more of a like a yelling face that might have come with him. You know, that just static, you know, just looking face doesn't really work well with some of these poses. Like, I mean, this pose, he's getting ready to blast this minigun, and he's just looking calm as can be. But overall, though, yeah, this guy looks awesome. But we're going to get a closer look at that gun, as well as the gun on his holster there, and check out some of the accessories, and then we're going to get a better look at Deathlok himself. And Deathlok does come with the Build-A-Figure piece for Sasquatch, the left arm there, which we'll review once we actually put Sasquatch together. That leaves us with his backpack and his weapons and ammo, so let's go ahead and get a closer look. So starting with the backpack, one thing you can see is similar to Cable's blaster, large blaster pistol, we get some pretty cool effects there with some of the damage. I would have liked to seen, you know, I don't know, some sort of shading, but that's pretty cool for the backpack, and that just ports right into his back, just like Cap shields, Falcon's wings, any other back piece that we've ever seen. So nothing too fancy there. Looking at the pistol, it does have the extended magazine there, and then scope, and it's a pretty cool detail on it. Yeah, I like it. I don't think I've seen this before. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but and then it does just go in, just slide it down in there, and the trigger finger does go in there, so he can hold it just fine. And then taking a look at his minigun, that's pretty cool. You get the opening on the side there, and then another opening on the side here, which happens to be in the shape of the ammunition, so that way you know which way to port it in, and just kind of cram it in there. And there's some shots where it's looped around, and I think it just goes in there, and you can have it like that if you wanted to. Whoops. Yeah. But one neat thing about this is this piece here, you gotta be careful, but it does rotate. This piece stays the same, but it spins inside there. There we go. And something that I thought to try is take one of the blast effects from Iron Man and try to port it in there, but it's really tight. I mean, you could probably get it to fit. I heated it up with a hair dryer, and it just made that piece mushy, so it still didn't really work. But, I mean, depending on the angle, you know, if you did that kind of angle, it definitely wouldn't matter. So, that's pretty cool there. And this also just slides in from the bottom, and bring it around, and again, his hand's right on the trigger. So, yeah, pretty cool. But let's go ahead and get a closer look at Deathlok now. And taking a close-up look of Deathlok here, and you can see this is just an awesome looking head sculpt. and they really did a great job with some of the paint details. You got a little bit of overpaint there on his chin, but you can't really see it until you get really up close like this, and a little bit of overpaint on some of the cybernetic parts. But all in all, that I think it just came out awesome. You got his cybernetic eye there looking good, and I'll call it the zombie part of him. I think they did a great job there with the sculpt work. You got some exposed tissue, and it definitely looks very decayed. I love the green shadowing effect that they did. It's very cool. And on his neck, it even actually, if you go back, you can see they even continued that green and brown shadowing effect around his neck. It's got that sort of dot matrix printing going on that we've been seeing with some of the newer legends, but again, from a distance, you can't really tell. Looking at his chest piece and the rest of them, this little port here does unplug. All you gotta do is just pop it back in. Flag, actually a pretty good detail. Somebody want to pause that and count and see if it's actually got the right number of stars? I'm not going to do that right now, but definitely very cool. And line work looks good. Metallic arm might have looked cool if they did do some shadowing effects like they did with the Juggernaut Wave cable, but I don't know, I like it. Backpack we talked about porting in there. Those hands feel like we've seen before. Couldn't tell you where though. It does have a belt. I couldn't find anywhere where this belt is removable. I feel like it probably slid on. And he does have the holster there for his pistol, and it fits in quite nicely there. Just pop that down. Maybe. I got a little lip there. I can't get it over, but good enough. And detailing on the legs, very cool. All the cybernetic pieces I think came out really good. And his boots, yeah, very cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation. And real quick, looking at his scale, we can see that Deathlok comes in at about 6.5 inches, so he's actually a little bit taller than your average Marvel Legends, which is pretty cool. But looking at the articulation here, you do have, of course, head, side motion. He does hit that, so you got to be careful. One thing I noticed when looking up, you got to kind of make sure you push it back, but he's got a good range up. And same thing, bury his chin pretty good there. So I want to take this off real quick because I want to show you something that I saw when doing the shoulder joints. If you look on both shoulders, he's got a little bit of a rock there. So if I do this, he actually ends up hitting right there. So what I've noticed is it either sticks, but if I kind of pull it down, and I got to do that for both arms, kind of pull it down, you can get full 90 degrees on both hands, and of course you can go all the way around. But yeah, if you have a hard time getting the 90 degrees, it's because when you pull up, it wants to hit that piece until you kind of push it down. You do have, of course, bicep swivel, double jointed elbows. There we go. Looks like elbows kind of sticking there. Yeah. You do have, of course, wrist rotation. You have up and down hinge on that. Worth noting on this wrist, it is this up and down, so not side to side. And then looking at his ab crunch, he does not go very far back. And actually, if we get his backpack back on here, I get a feeling, yeah, no, that ab crunch with his backpack on is not even very good. Ab crunch forward, not too bad. He does have his waist swivel. He's on a ball jointed legs there, so he can go that far, kick forward about that far, kick backwards, not very far at all. Does have the upper thigh cut, which I always like. Double jointed knees. He does have a boot cut, and he's got some awesome ankle pivot. And here's the Deadpool Wave Deathlok standing next to the Series 9 Marvel Legends Galactus Wave Deathlok. And I honestly didn't want to do a side-by-side with him standing up because this guy is super floppy, and it took me forever to get him to stand in this pose. But I hated this hose to his gun. Worst idea ever, but I love that this one is connected to his back piece and it gives us more articulation. But this guy I will be happy to replace with the new Sasquatch Wave Deathlok. And here's Deathlok standing next to the other figure that we've reviewed from this wave, Cable, and next to the Walgreens exclusive Punisher. I just remember there was I think it was like issue 7 and 8 was Deathlok versus the Punisher. And I remember I had that growing up, so I wanted to get them side by side, and you can see how he does stack up to just a little bit taller, that 6.5 inches versus Punisher's 6 inches or close to 6 inches. So Deathlok does come out looking just a little bit bigger, and I'm okay with that. I think that's good. He's a big old cybernetic zombie, so I think he should be a little bit bigger. All right, guys, and that is the review, and yeah, this guy, you need to find him, get him. If you have the Series 9 one that I compared him with, still get this one. This is the best Deathlok figure for sure. I think Hasbro just knocked it out of the park. The detailing is great. The paint is overall very good. I'm very happy with it. The posability is good. I mean, he's standing on his own right now, so you can get some good dynamic poses going for sure. But yeah, leave a comment down below, guys. Let me know what you think of this figure. Where did you find him? I'm kind of curious. With Toys R Us doing their thing, I got mine at a local retailer called Meijer here in Michigan. So not sure where you guys got this from. I'm curious if anyone did pick it up from Toys R Us. But other than that, guys, as always, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of the reviews, and have a great day.